Welcome, everyone. We're here live at the MSP Expo in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. I'm Mike with the MSPAA. Welcome to the show. I have Dr. William Dicker from Team Logic IT, Marietta, Georgia. Doc, welcome to the show.
Thanks, sir. Nice to be here.
Now, how did you get these two little letters in front of your name?
I went to Georgia State University and actually earned my doctorate in business administration with a focus on cybersecurity.
Okay, so our audience is going to love to hear more about that. When was this? What did you learn in the program?
So the program I actually graduated right during the COVID issue, so 2021, and my focus was on executive leadership from a doctoral standpoint and research. But my dissertation, which led to us opening up our business, was on how small businesses can afford compliance without hiring a chief information security officer internally, but outsourcing those to an external company and still maintain compliance and save costs.
So 2022, you got into the Team Logic family. What were you doing before that?
Before that, I worked for the state of Georgia and some other corporate environments doing IT cybersecurity. And I'm also a certified chief information security officer from Carnegie Mellon University.
That sounds like a highly rewarding and lucrative career. So why did you make the decision to jump off the cliff and start your own business?
Well, great question. I'm retired military. I was in the Army for 23 years. And in the Army, I was a medic. So I was always groomed and always taught to protect information and protect systems and protect people. And when I retired, I started my IT journey up. And cybersecurity was still about protecting assets, protecting people. And that's where we wanted to go with it.
What led you to pursue the Team Logic franchise model as opposed to just hanging your own shingle and starting from scratch?
Well, you can hang your own company up there, your own shingle. But with Team Logic IT, we have a backbone, a support structure. We have a franchise headquarters in California that provides us the tools, the solutions, and really allows us to offer our services at reduced costs because they purchase in bulk because we're such a large franchise organization. So we can really give you the same quality and better quality than you get from other MSPs at a much lower price.
How have the first 3 years been like in business?
First 3 years have been tough. We start our fifth year come July. It's been tough, but it's been very rewarding because we sit there and we explain to our clients, and we do not call them customers. We call our clients because we build a lifelong relationship with our clients. We do not do a one and done handshake and we're out there. We take them to lunch, but we want to build that family style relationship with them to where we can teach them and help grow them maturity wise and grow ourselves at the same time.
What's been the most expensive lesson you've learned so far, hitting up now 5 years in business?
To make sure you have emotional intelligence, because you want to ensure that although you may think it's a better solution, if your client is not in that same mindset as you are, you have to have that emotional intelligence, be able to recognize when someone is not understanding or not getting the environment you're trying to sell them. So you want to make sure that they know that you're only doing things in the best interest of their company and their clientele.
You served as an Army medic. This is certainly not the most stressful job that you've had. How has that previous experience given you more resilience to be a business owner now?
Well, as a business owner, I work from 8 a.m. to midnight, 7 days a week, because you deserve what we give you. You deserve to have an internal IT company at an external cost to keep you having to spend all those extra dollars that you can't afford. So it's the motivation, it's the intrinsic motivation piece that pushes you through to the next mile.
What type of clientele you like serving?
I love serving all clients, but I'm a healthcare subject matter expert. So healthcare entities, I'm right up your lane. There's a new security rule coming out into 2026, and I help write that new rule. So there's a lot of compliance requirements to include pen testing, to include vulnerability scanning. A lot of stuff healthcare clients must do now when this new rule comes into effect. So
is it a state level
it's
requirement?
It's a federal law.
Talk us through it.
So there's a federal law called the HIPAA security rule. And it's requirements that covered entities and business associates must follow to be compliant with the federal government. The rule was originally written in 1996 and it's been changed a few times, but we actually went in and we revamped the entire rule. Those addressable concerns that you could usually get away with saying, well, we don't need to do this, but it's okay if we have something else, those are long gone.
Well, I mean, in this audience, when you mention HIPAA, I think many people are going to roll their eyes because most healthcare providers know of HIPAA and are not compliant in any number of ways.
Correct.
How are you finding that intrinsic motivation with your clients to take it seriously enough, to invest in your services so they're compliant with HIPAA?
So first, we show them what's called an OCR wall of shame. And that's a public website that when you're breached, it would be posted on there for everyone to see. And there are many types of risks you can go with and many risks you can mitigate. But one risk you cannot mitigate is reputational risk. Once you lose your reputation, it's long gone. You'll never get it back. So let's be proactive. Let's change it. Let's modify it at a reasonable cost, of course. We don't want to bankrupt any healthcare organization, but at a reasonable cost, let's mitigate these risks before they become security incidents.
Oftentimes, being a founder of business can be pretty lonely.
It can be very lonely.
How are you dealing with that? What's your coping system?
Well, first of all, my wife and I own the business together. We've been married going on 35 years now. So what we do as co-owners is we bounce ideas off of each other, but we have very specific lanes that we work in. I'm from the technical side of the house. She's the operations side of the house. But we make sure that those lanes are clearly defined. But we have a checks and balance to where if I'm doing something, I will talk to her about it because she's just as much invested in the company as I am.
How do you find the balance between seeing each other's colleagues and then turning that off, because you were married 30 years before you started this business? So how do you have home time and work time?
Well, our home time primarily focuses around the grandchildren. So when the girls come down to visit us, we just spend all the time with them. But we have to turn it off. You have to turn the faucet off because sometimes the business will drain you to the point of you can't turn it off. So you have to know that it's time to take a step back. Let someone else try to run it for a few days while you go out and do something with your family, because family is the most important thing in this world.
What's the next 5 years look like for you?
Next 5 years for us is we want to continue growing. We want to expand into more territories outside of Marietta, Georgia. We would love to expand into Savannah, Georgia, because that's where my wife is from. So we would love to open up shop there, but continue growing, continue mentoring, continue training my employees so that they can grow up also and be an owner one day themselves.
What do you like about the franchise structure? The people are going to hear this. There's going to be pros and cons to buying into the franchise or being your own independent, making all the own decisions, right or wrong, yourself. What do you see has been strategic advantages for you in the first 5 years?
Yeah, so no one is perfect. We all make mistakes. So the franchise model allows you to make those mistakes and still have other co-owners or other owners of other franchises that's been through your shoes before. We all started a business at the same time. Everyone learned lessons from that. So it gives you someone to talk to. It gives you a headquarters to go back and say, does this look right? Or should I change this? It gives you a complete mentorship and it gives you guidance, whether you want it sometimes or whether you don't. You still get the guidance you need.
All right. So you're planning on going broader in Georgia? You still going to stick with healthcare because that's sort of your area, subject matter expert area of affinity?
We actually take all clients. Healthcare is my specialty. I love healthcare because we're really protecting patients and patient data. But we serve many industries such as financial. We have clients in industrial areas, manufacturing. So we really service everybody. And I think what's so important is to understand that we're not an external IT company. We're an internal IT company at an external cost.
If you were to start this business again, what would you give yourself as your own advice 5 years younger?
If I were to give myself something 5 years younger is remember the emotional intelligence piece. It's so important to understand how your clients react to changes because they've been using systems for 20 plus years and it's never had a problem. Now you're trying to convince them that it's time to upgrade, it's time to change, it's time to go into a broader cloud-based environment. You want to make sure that they understand the pros and the cons and that you're more importantly understanding the emotional intelligence that change matters and change is scary.
You brought this up twice, so there's got to be a hot button story here. What forced you to learn that lesson? What forced you to develop your own emotional intelligence?
We brought on a brand new client. This was really one of our first clients back in 2022, and we tried to convince them early on that it was good to move out of the 1980s into the 21st century. But some of those changes came with very challenging aspects of it that employees pushed back. The CEO wanted the change, but the employees pushed back. And the most important thing is to make sure that your employees understand why the change is needed, and more importantly, how the change benefits them. And that is so important. It's showing them that the business impact and the business value of upgrading and changing.
How are you working that into your onboarding? Because that's certainly the time to bring it up when you have your first impressions with the employees of a new client. How do you build that systemically into your onboarding?
We open up the floor for them to discuss the challenges of upgrading. We want to hear what their input is, the employees, and we take that back with us and we look and say, what's the best course of action here? What should we do better? What should we improve on? And we go back after 30 days of onboarding and we tell them, okay, here's what we see in your network. Here's what we see in your environment. Here are the risks that we're seeing. Let's try to go ahead and mitigate these risks now before a risk becomes an incident.
And you see that being recepted warmly, or are you getting still pushback? Is every client different for you? What do you feel?
Every client is different. Some clients are very receptive and say, yes, we know we're way in the 1900s and we need to get in the 2000s. Other clients are like, this, I don't want to spend the money. Let's just do the bare minimum. But I think what the most important thing is for our clients is to help them understand that if you have that drive for security compliance like we do, then you're going to want to have those enhancements. And those enhancements are not extraordinary costs. They're very minimal costs, but it's enhancements that will protect you and your company and your client data.
Right on. Tell us if you're talking to a small healthcare provider in Marietta, where can they find more about you?
You can visit my website, Team Logic IT, Marietta, Georgia. You can also find me on LinkedIn, William Dicker. I'm on LinkedIn. And you can also look us up and call us on our phone number.
Fantastic. All right. Dr. William Dicker, thanks for joining us on the show. Thank you for your service. Good luck on the next 5 years with you and your wife running this business. Thanks for joining us live with the MSPA here at the MSP Expo in Fort Lauderdale.
Bye-bye, everyone.